I am going to review for you today. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. It's a crazy day around here. We've got 24 hours of shows from the house. So I'm in Victoria's room as I'm talking to you here. Let's say hello to our Amazon friends as well. So here we go. I want to say welcome if you are joining us on Amazon Live. I'm Lea Little. I'm here with you every day at noon with a book review. And today we're going to review Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, an oldie but goodie from 1992. So whether you're joining me on Facebook, whether you're joining me on Amazon Live, I'm thrilled that you are here. And like I said just a moment ago, it's a crazy day around here. I'm in my daughter's room because we have 24 hours of shows out in the living room. So we've kind of got a modified setup going on right now. So welcome if you're joining me on Amazon Live. Welcome if you're joining me on Facebook Live. All right, so let's get right to it. Why am I doing this? I am doing a book review a day to challenge myself in the times that we live in to spend that time wisely, right? We've all got extra time in our day, whether we realize it or not, simply because I'm not commuting back and forth to work. I'm not going into the studio. The studio is now here in my home. So, what's really nice is that I decided to use that extra time to do something positive, and that is to do book reviews. So, here I could sell anything I wanted to. I thought, how about talk about ideas? So we're going to talk about ideas in this space. So every day at noon, since January 1st, I have been here, even yesterday, by the seat of my pants. I had to pull over to the side of the road in the car to do the book review. And the book I really wanted to review for Valentine's Day was Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, but I knew I didn't have enough time with the show schedule and 24 hours of shows today. So I bumped this book over to today to give you an overview because I really wanted to dive into it for myself and see what it's all about. So here we go. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Thank you if you're joining me on Facebook. Thank you if you're joining me on Amazon Live. And I am just going to refresh this little screen over here. All right. So um, what I found most interesting about this book is that it has a communication style, right, that kind of puts us into little silos, which is why I didn't read it in 1992. But I figured it's always good to learn something. There's always nuggets from any book. And since this has been such a worldwide phenomenon for so many years, I decided I better look into it. So even though I think a lot of things have evolved as far as communication styles and not necessarily just putting us in gender boxes, I feel like there's definitely some truth to this. Although I find that my communication style might be actually more like the man communication style that's described in this book. But let's get right to it. So it's rare. There's reviews about the book. It's rare to find a nonfiction book that is a page turner, but John Gray has written one. This is the one. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Once upon a time, Martians and Venetians met, fell in love, and had happy relationships together because they respected and accepted their differences. Then they came to Earth and amnesia set in. Using this metaphor to illustrate the commonly occurring conflicts between men and women, Dr. John Gray explains how these differences can come between the sexes and prohibit mutually fulfilling, loving relationships. Based on years of successful counseling of couples, he gives us advice on how to communicate differences in and how to counteract differences in communication styles, emotional needs, and modes of behavior to promote a better understanding between individual partners. And I think he does a brilliant job at that. I want to say hello, by the way, if you're joining me on Facebook Live. So glad that you're here. Joining me on Amazon Live, thrilled that you are here as well. So let's get to it. So basically, is in the simplified view, uh, styles of communication that he says. So many people are frustrated with their relationships. They love their partner, but when there's a tension, they don't know what to do to make it better. Through understanding how completely different men and women are, you're going to learn new ways for successfully relating with, listening to, and supporting the opposite sex. You will learn how to create the love you deserve. That was a big promise, right? In the 90s, in the late 80s, a lot of you will learn this and kind of big promises with it. I think the book kind of lived up to its promise with a lot of people. It was definitely very useful and continues to be in talks even to this day. Men Are from Mars, Women Are from Venus is a manual for loving relationships in the 1990s and still, I think, some relevance today. It reveals how men and women differ in all areas of their lives. Not only do men and women communicate differently but they think, feel, perceive, react, respond, love, need, and appreciate differently. That's a long list, isn't it? They almost seem to be from different planets, speaking different languages and needing different nourishment. So let's begin. He says he clearly makes generalizations, kind of gives that disclaimer about men and women in this book. You'll probably find some comments truer than others. After all, we're all unique individuals with unique experiences. So he does kind of give us that disclaimer. All right, so he goes on to tell us sort of this story about Venus and Mars. And then he gets into these little nuggets of information. We mistakenly assume that if our partners love us, they will react and behave in certain ways, the ways we react and behave when we love someone. So not true. As we saw, even with the five love languages, that was one of the books that we reviewed earlier in the year. And lots of different communication going on with the five love languages for sure. Good intentions are not enough. Falling in love is always magical. It feels eternal, as if love will last forever. We naively believe that somehow we are exempt from all the problems our parents had, free from the odds that love will die, assured that it is meant to be, and that we are destined to live happily ever after. Oh, I still want to believe that, right? But I think it takes a lot of tools in order to work at that happily ever after. I want to say thank you, by the way, if you are joining me here on Amazon Live. I'll say hi in the chat. I'm multitasking here with Facebook as well. So I'm glad to interact with you as much as I can. And every day at noon, we're going to do book reviews. So super glad that you're here. All right. Mr. Fix-It and the Home Improvement Committee. Here's a fun one. The most frequently expressed complaint women have about men is that men don't listen, right? How many times have we heard that? I'm just going to adjust my chat here for you. So I've highlighted it if you are joining me on Amazon Live. Either a man completely ignores her when she speaks to him or listens to a few beats, assesses what is bothering her, and then proudly puts on his Mr. Fix-It cap and offers her a solution to make it better or to make her feel better. Now, I have to say that being growing up in the 80s, I oftentimes wear that Mr. Fix-It cap myself, which is why this book has been so intriguing to me. All right, so life on Mars. A man's sense of self is defined through his ability to achieve results. To offer a man unsolicited advice is to presume that he doesn't know what to do or that he can't do it on his own. Interesting. Now, in the woman's world, the premise is that a woman's self of sense is defined through her feelings and through the quality of her relationships. Uh, I have to agree. Ve- uh, Venus, Venusans are very intuitive. They have developed this ability through centuries of anticipating the needs of others. They pride themselves in being considerate of the needs and feelings of others. A sign of great love is to offer help and assistance to another Venusan without being asked. So again, we can see right here at the beginning how differently those thought processes could come into conflict. Generally speaking, when a woman offers unsolicited advice or tries to help a man, she has no idea how critical and unloving she may sound to him. Really interesting, right? You're trying to help, but that sounds critical. So I love how it just sort of lays out how we're all different and think differently. And very unique in that communication style. Many times, a woman just wants to share her feelings about her day, and her husband, thinking he's helping, interrupts her by offering a steady flow of solutions to her problems. Oh, so true. So it goes on in chapter 3 to talk about how men go to their caves, right? So a woman might go and talk with a friend. I talk with my sister quite a bit. A man might go to his cave and shut off for a little while, whether it's watching, whatever the case might be, on sports or a news show, just kind of checking out, going away, going to the gym, and then not communicating. And then, of course, what do? We want to talk, 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 right? So, again, talking about how the styles are so different. How women react to the cave. So, when the man goes to the cave and he's stuck in his cave, he's powerless to give his partner the quality attention she deserves. It is hard for her to be accepting of him at these times because she doesn't know how stressed he is. If he were to come home and talk about his problems, then she could be more compassionate. So what happens? We both pull, right, on one another. How men react when women need to talk. When we need to talk about our problems, men usually resist, right? A man assumes she is talking with him about her problems because she's holding him responsible. Ooh, isn't that interesting? Because we could just be talking just to be talking. But now the interpretation is there that it is because she is holding him responsible. So really fascinating. So, how do we find peace? Just as a man is fulfilled through working out the intricate details of solving a problem, a woman is fulfilled through talking about the details of her problems. So much of this, I think, still rings true, even all these years later, right? I don't know if it's necessarily men and women, but it's certainly communication styles. How to motivate the opposite sex. Men are motivated and empower when they feel needed. Women are motivated and empowered when they feel cherished. That's interesting. I have to say, yeah, feeling cherished I would definitely associate with that. All right, so the book goes on then to talk about expressing feelings versus expressing information, communication styles. If you ever had counseling, there's so many different theories on this. To fully express their feelings, women assume poetic license to use various superlatives, metaphors, and generalizations. 10 common complaints that are easily misinterpreted. Women say things like this: "We never go out." Men respond like this: "That's not true. We went out last week." And so then he gives us ideas of what we could say, ask for what we want, kind of concepts that time and time again have come up through over the years. Now, let's move on to why we argue. Men and women commonly argue about money, sex, decisions, scheduling, values, child rearing, and household responsibilities. These decisions and negotiations, however, turn into painful arguments, not only for one reason, that we're not feeling loved, for one reason that we're not feeling loved. Emotional pain comes from not feeling loved. And when a person is feeling emotional pain, it's hard to be loving. So true, isn't it? It's just a really fascinating way of looking at things. No wonder this book has been so hugely popular. The secret reasons men argue. The hidden reason he is arguing. I don't like it when she's upset over the smallest things I do or don't do. I feel criticized, rejected, and unaccepted. What he needs not to argue. He needs to feel accepted just the way he is. Instead, he feels she is trying to improve him. Oh, guilty, right? How many of us are guilty of that? Trying to give unsolicited advice for the sake of improvement. So, giving support at difficult times, talking about different arguments. And then the later you move back into the book, there are real techniques: writing love letters, writing out explaining the technique of writing the love letter, um, exactly how to do it step by step, ways we cover up our real feelings, and ways we can communicate better, what men want to be asked, which I thought was really interesting here. When I explained the distinction between the emotional words in my seminars, women tend to think I'm making a big deal over nothing. To women, there's not much difference, in fact, between could you may even more seem polite if you say would you, but to many men, that is a big, big difference. So a lot of semantics coming in there between C in could and W in would. So then here's my favorite, Keeping the Love Alive, chapter 13. He goes on to talk about one of the paradoxes of loving relationships is that when things are going well and we're feeling loved, we may suddenly find ourselves emotionally distancing our partners or reacting to them in unloving ways. And then it talks about different examples, and then it talks about different solutions of what you can do to send a healing letter, or how you can support one another, or the fact that you're never upset for the reason that you think that you are upset. So I find this really insightful. Delayed reaction, the crisis of rising expectation, why healthy people may need counseling. I think it's come a long way from since the 1990s, right? Like everybody has counselors. So if you're looking for tools and techniques, I would say not only in the bucket of men and women, but in just different communication styles. I think this is a very practical read with tools and tips that are very tangible and easy to follow. So there you have it, a very quick synopsis happening today because I've got 24 hours of shows happening here at the house. So that's why we're in Victoria's room. But I'm dedicated every day at noon. It has been my New Year's resolution to read a book a day and to share with you a bit about it, and as a accountability to be here. So I hope you have enjoyed this very short synopsis of Men Are From Mars, Women Are from Venus. I've put it in the carousel. So if you're joining us on Amazon Live, it is there for you. You can select it. And also all of my previous, well, many, I shouldn't say all, many of my previous reviews are there in order in the carousel as well, for the reviews that I've done day after day after day. If you're joining me on Facebook Live or on YouTube, I'll put that into the chats. Just bear with me because it's going to take me a minute to just navigate that as we're running through some of the fun cleaning shows that we have going on today too. So thank you for being here, and happy Monday. Hope you had a beautiful Valentine's Day. And if you're still interested in love and romance after Valentine's Day, I think Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus is a great read. All right, so I'm going to round things out and say goodbye on Amazon Live. I'll see you tomorrow. And I'm going to say goodbye on Facebook Live. Want to say thanks for being here as well to Johnny and to Evan. Thanks for joining me today. And we'll see you tomorrow.